March 2nd, 1962. It was a cold and rainy Friday night. Around 4,000 people shuffled into Hershey Sports Arena. The smell of chocolate from nearby factories filled their noses. The arena, an old drafty gym originally built for ice hockey, would be the site of a face-off between the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia Warriors. And this game, which fans likely expected to be a routine contest, turned out to be much more. Among the starting lineup for the Warriors that night was 7'1" center Wilt Chamberlain, and despite having partied the night before, was looking to add to his already impressive resume. When he stepped on the court that night, he was already leading the league in scoring, rebounding, and minutes played. They were off, and after only a few minutes, the Warriors were already pulling away. And even though Wilt later recalled feeling lethargic shortly before the game, he was flying around the court. Shot after shot after shot, Wilt was finding the net. By the end of the first quarter, he had already put up 23. Except something was off about the way Wilt was playing. You see, normally free throws were a weak part of Wilt's game, but that night, he was sinking them. Fast forward to halftime and the Warriors are still up 79-68. Wilt had 41 of those points. Nobody got too excited though, because Wilt regularly went into the locker room at the half with 30 to 35 points. But one of his teammates, Guy Rogers, noticed his momentum and said to another teammate, "Let's get the ball to Dip. Let's see how many he can get." And man, did their plan work. As soon as they were back on the court, Wilt caught a second win, and just like before, shot after shot after shot, he was draining them. Soon, Wilt had 50 points, awakening the previously sleepy crowd. There was no one quick enough to match him. There was no one big enough to guard him. At this point, the Knicks resorted to intentionally fouling him in an attempt to slow him down. He was being double, sometimes triple teamed, but their methods were still ineffective. And as the game clock wound down, Wilt racked up 60 points, 70 points, 80. The crowd screamed to get the ball to him. Nearly everyone in the arena wanted to see him score 100. None of the Knicks' tactics seemed to work, and now with less than a minute left in the game, Wilt had gotten his total up to 98. Now I want you to take a listen to what happened next.
Garrett on the foul line misses. 1 minute and 1 second to play. He has 98 points in professional basketball. I'll tell you, that's a lot of points if you're playing grammar school kids, isn't it? Garen misses another. He's on the line again. Here it is. It's up. It's good. 167 to 146. Now let's see if they found somebody quick. Rogers throws one to Chamberlain. He's got it. He's trying to get up. He shoots. No good. The rebound, Luckenbill. Back to Chamberlain. He shoots up. No good. In and out. The rebound, Luckenbill. Back to Ruckwick. Into Chamberlain. He made it. He made it. A zipper goes. He made it. The fans are all over the floor. They stopped the game. People are running out on the court. 100 points to Wilt Chamberlain. They stopped the game. People are crowding, pounding him, banging him. The Warrior players are all over him. Fans are coming out of the stands. 46-second breath. The most amazing scoring performance of all time. 100 points with a big zipper.
As fans tugged at him, Wilt walked off the court, having just accomplished one of the greatest sports feats of all time, setting a scoring record that is still standing today, more than 60 years later. And today, many sports fans and analysts agree that this single game performance is one of the most remarkable ever, with some putting it at the very top of their list. However, some people out there don't exactly agree. Some people completely disregard the record and claim that it never happened because to this day, no footage of the game exists. You see, all the footage you watch at the beginning of the video was put together from other games. Because like I said, more than 60 years later, neither the NBA nor any other source have been able to provide one single clip of the game. But why? We have film of Babe Ruth from 1925, but all we have of Wilt's game is a short audio recording. 7 years after Wilt scored 100, we got footage from the moon. It really doesn't make sense when you think about it, which is why people are so split on whether or not they believe the game actually happened. So to better understand why this is, we have to first understand the state of the NBA when this game was played. Back in 1962, college basketball drew much bigger crowds than the pros. The NBA wasn't yet seen as a major sports league and struggled to get the same attention. With that being said, they also had trouble getting on TV, with the All-Star Game and Game 6 of the Finals being the only 2 games televised that year. There were also only 9 teams at the time, compared to the 30 there are today. The NBA was only around 16 years old at that point, and people just weren't all that interested yet, which leads me to an often asked question: where are the TV recordings of the game? Well, to put it simply, the game never made it to TV. It wouldn't have been profitable to televise the game because not many people would have watched it. That's at least the general consensus around why the game wasn't televised. So hypothetically speaking, if it would have been televised, it would have been broadcast by NBC, being that they had the rights up until April 7th of 1962, roughly a month after the game took place. So I looked into the existence of an NBC video archive of some sort and found out that Getty Images is the exclusive clip licensing representative of the NBC News archives. So I did a quick search on their website and came up with nothing. But they did have footage of Wilt Chamberlain literally playing basketball in high school. So I kept searching, and I found out that the Library of Congress archived some of NBC's old broadcasts. So after about an hour of trying every search term variation I could think of on their website, I still came up with nothing. But I wanted to be sure, so I decided to email one of their librarians for help, and in only a few days, I got a response. Thank you for contacting the Moving Image Research Center at the Library of Congress. Unfortunately, we do not hold footage of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game from 1962 in our Moving Image collection. According to the NBC March 3, 1962 program log, coverage of the Warrior v Knicks game was not scheduled. I have attached the program log for your reference. So, as I expected, no game footage. But the librarian did send me photos of this old TV program, which I haven't seen anyone else talk about. It shows what was scheduled to be shown on TV at the time the game took place. And as you can see, there are no basketball games scheduled. But if you look right here, there was a news segment at 11. So that might have been the game's only chance at being mentioned on TV that day. Another thing I noticed written at the top is that President Kennedy actually addressed the nation on TV the same night, and the speech was about nuclear weapons, which, given the time period, is pretty cool. So to wrap this whole thing up, in my opinion, I really don't think the footage exists. And in looking for clues, I think I've only helped prove further that it doesn't. I think a problem with this whole situation is that people see the scale of the NBA today and they can't imagine them not being able to afford to film every game in the past. Instead of comparing Wilt's game to older footage that we do have, people should talk about the state of the NBA at the time, and then more people would understand why we don't have the footage. I do think the game happened though, and that the NBA just wasn't ready to record it at the time. But if the footage does exist, I think it's probably in an archive somewhere and it was just forgotten about, and hopefully in the future, in my lifetime, somebody finds it, blows the dust off of it, and puts it on YouTube for free. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and if I missed anything or got anything wrong, let me know and I'll make a pinned comment and correct myself. This is my first real long form video on this channel, so if you got this far and you liked it, hit the subscribe button, maybe share it with somebody, I'd appreciate it. But for now, I'm gonna see you in the next one. This is the Collect Project. Later.